And I'll end just by highlighting a couple of the initiatives going on this year that sort of tie a lot of these things together. One is the Delta group, which we have a member of it here. Do we have more than one member? David and Anna are two of the faculty who are on this group. This is a strategic plan implementation working group. The Delta stands for Digital Era Learning and Teaching at Andover. And I like that acronym in part because I just really like acronyms because I'm a word nerd, but also I like the way it frames the technology piece, the digital piece, as the era we're living in, and not just how are we going to use tools to replicate what we do in classes. So it's a bit bigger picture than that. So that group has just started this year. We've only had a few meetings. And we're starting by trying to become really familiar with some of the frameworks that articulate these sort of skills. And I think that an essential piece of that work is the at Andover part. So we can look to any number of examples of really wacky, out there, forward-thinking, exciting reimaginations of the school experience, right? There are plenty of them out there. High Tech High, which Matt and Lisa referenced at last night's faculty meeting, provides one example that's totally inspiring, and yet no one's saying that we should now be High Tech High. So thinking about, if we believe, as I do, that we have an imperative to really help students develop in digitally literate ways, then what is that going to mean for this school? So that's sort of generally the charge of this group, is not only to define what it is we want our students to do in that realm, but how are we doing on that, first of all? So there will be some internal self-study, and then what do we want that to mean, and how do we go forward? So that's sort of the general charge of this group. I'm really excited about it, and it's been really some fun conversations so far. The other, or another, initiative is one relating to e-portfolioes. So, and actually I was thinking a lot about this during the faculty meeting last night, where there were a lot of comments about what do we do with longer blocks, and are we reimagining our teaching or not, and stress and assessment being a big part of stress. And I've taught with e-portfolios before, and I'm a huge fan, and I think that one of the reasons I love them is because it addresses a lot of different dimensions that sort of can clog the student learning experience, stress being one of them. Constructing an e-portfolio by documenting a learning process along the way is incredibly good for learning. It promotes reflection. It gives students a sense of ownership over what they're doing. There are just lots of good reasons to try this as a form of assessment. So I had an info session for students last night who have applied to do independent projects in the winter. And I'm trying to round up a handful of students that want to do portfolios, kind of add that as a layer to their independent project. I actually think it would help them structure their work, but also give them the chance to articulate and show what it is they're learning along the way, because we do a lot of work that goes into the final paper or the final presentation or the final lab, and it doesn't necessarily get captured or shown or showcased in any way. So that's another thing I'm working on this year. And then finally, I want to do some work on multimedia projects. A lot of people do multimedia projects with their students, and I think there's a lot that we can learn from those experiences and kind of pull together some resources to help people that want to start in that direction, start going in that direction. So those are three of the things in the portfolio this year.